Oy Omar v'yikchi li truma, perish Rashi li lishmi. That when we take a truma to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, how can you take a truma to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? HaKadosh Baruch Hu has everything. What are you going to add? What can you possibly take, and from where are you going to take it that HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't have yet? And the answer is, he doesn't have a good name in this world. So if you want to help HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he wants a good name. He wants people to realize and recognize who he is. Li, you want to help me? You want to give me a truma? Give it lishmi, give it to my name. To make my name better. Al derech hayedua, kitcha b'richil hu ishmoy echad. Him and his name, they are one. Lo kebasav edam, ki shmoy b'fnei atzma b'hu b'fnei atzma. V'ayim b'rechaim al pusik ishmi Hashem le'nedati lehem. V'chein shmati min Adoni v'zikeni b'shem echochem Baal Choves halevovos. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu, him and his name are one. What does that mean? He is already everything. Nobody can take that away from him. But when we don't recognize who he is, then him and his name are not one. When you recognize who HaKadosh Baruch Hu is, then he owns his name again. It's real now. And now, the one that was HaKadosh Baruch Hu to begin with knows that he is part of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the yichud of the name. You're not bringing HaKadosh Baruch Hu to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He doesn't need you for that. He's already doing okay with himself. He wants you there. How are you going to get there? By knowing his name. By knowing who you're talking about. Who you're chasing after. Who's chasing you. Who you're dealing with. What's the reality of that situation? When you understand the reality of that situation, then you're combining HaKadosh Baruch Hu with his name. You're combining the reality which is you with the reality that you know. And that's like a chosam v'kala coming together. And that, by tzaddikim, is a loving relationship. The one that knows loves the one that he knows. But by Rishonim it's the opposite. Like Chazal teach us on the pasuk, Ani Hashem lo shenisi. Ani Hashem lo shenisi, say Chazal, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I never changed. I'm the same HaKadosh Baruch Hu that I was from the beginning, and I'm still here the same. Nothing changed. Aval mishtani ila rishom, to wicked people he changes. Why does he change? Because they think he's different. So to them, in their mind, he's different. He, in his essence, hasn't changed. But their perception of him is not him. So to them, he's changed. So when we take it Truma to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he says, you take it lishmi. You're not helping me in the sense that you can contribute something that I don't have. But you can contribute something that this world doesn't have. And what is that? That's the knowledge of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to know who we're talking about. To give HaKadosh Baruch Hu his name back. L'shem u'l'tiferes, that it should be a name that somebody could be proud of and say, Masa yodai le'ispoir. You see this? I made it. There's pride in what he made. Today, where's the pride? There's no pride. When people don't know how to interact with each other, there's no pride. It looks painful. It looks like a struggle. It's dreadful. And that puts people straight into the Gehenna. There's a very thin line between the Gan Eden and the Gehenna. And that thin line is when you feel that it's okay to be alive. It's not so bad and it's not so good. Nobody's there. Everybody's either in the Gehenna, where they think that being alive is a punishment, or they're in Gan Eden, where they think that being alive is a reward. But it's not only what you're feeling at the moment, your mind also computes your entire future based on your current emotion. So when you're in Gehenna, you're not just feeling the Gehenna, you're feeling like life is going to be a punishment for the next X amount of years, for as long as it's going to go. It compounds the pain to a tremendous degree. But the same way, Midah Tov Meruba, when a person realizes that being alive is a reward, so then he has the entire future to enjoy that reward. It compounds the reward as well. So it's up to us how we want to choose to look at things. Life is the way that it is, but our relationship with it depends on where we are. Are we in hell? Do we think that it's supposed to be difficult to be on this world? Or are we in Gan Eden where we think it's supposed to be a pleasure to be in this world? And accordingly, we give the experiences to the people around us. What do we represent? Are we a malach that serves HaKadosh Baruch Hu to make people's lives better? Or are we Chas v'Shalom an evil malach that serves for the Satan to make hell even more hot? Because we are the ones that represent reality to each other. There's nobody else. The moment we're born, we look at each other to figure out who are we and who is Hashem. And am I in good hands, or have I made a big mistake being born? It's up to the people around you to answer that question. And once that gets programmed in for a certain number of years, it's very hard to get out of that frame of mind, because the child's never seen anything else. He doesn't know how to think differently. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu is begging us, give me a better name, because when HaKadosh Baruch Hu's name is good, then living here is good. Then the world is a Gan Eden. But when HaKadosh Baruch Hu has a bad name, then living here is hell. Nobody wants to be here. You're here because you have to. You're tugging along. But that's not life. That's not Torah. That's not where a person's going to get chayas from. It's not going to make him happy and give him the right energy so that he can do the right things in his life, so that he can interact with people the way that they need to be interacted with, so that we don't create more hell. So how do we get that energy? By recognizing who Hashem really is, by bringing a truma to the Shem of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to realize that He represents everything good about what's happening. And everything bad is represented by a lack of knowledge. Deitzadas Tov V'Ra means that when you know it right, it's Tov, and when you don't know it right, it's Ra. And it's our job to be mevarer everything to Tov, because as soon as we'll be mevarer everything to Tov, then that's all we'll have left. There will be nothing else. It's up to us what we're carrying around in this world. What are we a carrier for? Are we carrying a disease, or are we carrying a trufa? Are we carrying healing? Yetzira HaKadosh Baruch Hu she'ikach odem HaKadosh Baruch Hu etzloi. A person should take HaKadosh Baruch Hu to him. K'meforish v'osi li-migdosh v'shechanti b'soicham. So he says b'soicham mamish, inside of their being. Mamish there. You can be a servant of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How can you be a servant of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? All you have to do is identify with the one who created this reality and say, I want to make it good, like he wants it to be good. It doesn't matter what you say you believe in. He's not listening to your words. HaKadosh Baruch Hu complains when we speak to him and we don't mean it. Vayifatu b'fiyam v'lshonim echaz v'loi v'libam lo nochon imoi v'lenaamnu es el richoi. You can't just say words to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, they're useless. There are other religions maybe where you say the words and you're done. In our religion you have to mean it. And when you mean it, it means that you recognize first who you're dealing with. You're not dealing with some random entity that wrote a book. You're dealing with the same entity that created you and everybody around you. You want to bring him in? You want HaKadosh Baruch Hu should reside within you? It's not a problem. Just don't be his enemy. Don't be an enemy of his people. Don't be an enemy of yourself. Don't allow evil into your heart, and then you'll serve him. And the first evil is something that feels like something is wrong. Something needs to be taken care of. Something needs to be controlled. Because from there, everything can go wrong already. If you take it into your hands, if you take it into your understanding, then it's not HaKadosh Baruch Hu anymore. The smartest person in the universe that we know about, Shlomo HaMelech, says, Betach b'Hashem b'chol libecho. You rely on HaKadosh Baruch Hu with all your heart. Vel binascha al teshoin. Don't even lean on your understanding. Not only shouldn't you follow it, don't even lean on it. It's useless. Our understanding is useless. Why? Because how big do we see? How much of the picture can you see? You can see 3 days in a row. Can you keep track of everything that happened in 3 days to give you a little bit of perspective? How about 3 years? How about 30? How about 100? 1,000? HaKadosh Baruch Hu can do all that. So you want to rely on somebody who has seen a tiny slice of the story that he should make your decisions for you? Your bin has not seen nothing. It doesn't know nothing. What it thinks is totally not the point. However, what it thinks is exactly what's going to give you your experience of what's happening. What it thinks will give you the experience of hell, or it will give you the experience of heaven. Because your body can't tell the difference. Whatever you tell it, that's what it's going to experience. You tell it, I live in the most horrible world and it's difficult and I can't come out of bed, it will believe you. Tell it to him enough times and you really won't be able to come out of bed. And if you tell him that this world is a perfect place and people just need to learn how to behave in order to make it better, so that we can realize the potential of what's happening, so then suddenly your day looks different, your life looks different. We can't measure ourselves based on the measurements that society put in front of us. If I'm successful to make money, if I'm successful to make a career, if I have a big social life, if I learn X amount, then I have my ticket to be a human being. Do you think those people feel any better with themselves? No, because feeling good with yourself depends on what you're telling yourself. It doesn't matter what you do. What is that conversation that's going on in your brain? Some people do nothing and they feel great. Some people don't stop doing and then they have a heart attack. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to be here, so he says, do me a favor, take out all those kotzim, take out all these things that hurt life so that I can come reside within you so I won't get hurt. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu, once he comes, he doesn't get hurt like we do. If you look in the Midbar, you'll see when HaKadosh Baruch Hu is around people and negativity starts coming out, it's dangerous. These people are alive. They understand what evil means. They understand what negativity could be. They understand that their body is not built for that. Ad kedei kach that thousands of people would die when there would be a lack of balance in their relationship with reality. Thousands of people would die because these people were alive. We're just in training. We're trying to imagine what it means to be alive so that we can learn, so that we can one day become alive. But as long as we don't exterminate the evil from our hearts, nobody can come in there. The Kedusha can't live in a place like that. The Kedusha can't handle it because it's the extreme opposite. This is the effect of the Satan. This is the effect of what's wrong with humanity. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu cannot be Mashri Shechina on a place that's on a Baal Mum, on a place that's not Bishlemis, on a place that makes no sense. The last thing he wants is to be in this world, feel like the owner and see it go wrong. And then the Nevi'im come and cry and cry and cry and nobody listens. So he can only come when we listen. And listening means we clean up our act. We understand how dangerous it is to be negative, to be evil, to talk down to people, to talk down to ourselves, to remove the energy that HaKadosh Baruch Hu naturally creates in life, to kill it. It's no different than taking a plant and ripping it out. It's that type of maneuver. It takes something alive, a human being, that has a chayis, that has a ratzon, that has a will to manifest, that wants to live and be happy, and it kills it, whether it's for a moment or for an eternity. It's only a matter of time until it becomes permanent. So, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants Shchinosoi b'toicham mamish. How do you do it? The Torah will teach you how to make yourself a home for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Why? It's like calling HaKadosh Baruch Hu to you. When you learn Torah Lishma, you're calling HaKadosh Baruch Hu to come live with you. V'hi HaKadosh Baruch Hu mamish kanal. You call his name, you're calling him. Every new recognition you have of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you're meeting HaKadosh Baruch Hu in that recognition. Why? Because he's already there. What's lacking is only your understanding of it. Many people say, the power of Emunah, how can Emunah change so many things? How can Emunah change the whole world? How can Emunah make such a difference? The answer is it doesn't need to change anything. Everything is already perfect. It only needs to change you. When you believe, you come to reality where everything already is prepared. We're asking a person to have emunah not so that he can change the world, so that he cannot stand in its way, so that he can let life be, so that he can let HaKadosh Baruch Hu do what he needs to do. So when we don't have emunah, it's not that everything needs to move around and go into place. No, everything stays in place. You've left. Come back to your emunah so that you are the last piece of the puzzle. You can fall into place. And that's through the Torah. That's through understanding the truth. And the Torah is the shemus of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, meaning that the Torah affects your brain. It affects your mind. It tickles you in places you don't even know you have. That's the power of the Torah. Because it was written by people who did not live in our limited, constricted mindset. They lived in a very, very different reality. Their interaction with life was way realer than we can even imagine. And therefore, when they try to work on us, they're working on us in ways and in places that we don't even understand. But the tachlis of the Torah is so that you get to the yichid where HaKadosh Baruch Hu and His name are one. Where the recognition and what is recognized is one and the same reality. It is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu made it. And you're observing it and not interfering with it, only enhancing it. וגם בזוהר הקודש איסר, קידשא וריחי והרייסא כול אחד, כשלא מתויר לשם הקדוש ברוך הוא והוא לקיים מצווסו ולשמר הלויסא עשם מסקר אויסיס התויר שנשמש הקדוש ברוך הוא, בזה הוא לקח לקדוש ברוך הוא ממש כנ"ל, ושויר עולו והשכינה כביכול. כמו שכתוב, בכל מקום אשר אזכיר השמי, so the lashon is, askir, I will remind. Doesn't say b'chol mokom asher yaskir, like in a place where somebody will say his name. It's a place where I will say my name. Because when a person says the HaKadosh Baruch Hu's name properly, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the one doing the saying. B'chol mokom asher askir hashemi, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, when I will remind my name, when I will remember my name, when I will know who I am, then in that person the Shekhinah will rest. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu said his name from within that person. Ksheyaske Shem shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, shu ha-Torah ha-Kedosha, shekula shmoisav, oz uva yelecho verachticha, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes and gives you a bracha. What is the bracha? That you become rach, you become borich, you become soft, you become a rachman. When you realize what's really going on, you get a bracha. What's the bracha? That you have different midos. You have a new respect for reality. You don't interact with it in a brutal way, in a violent way. I'll give you a bracha. I'll give you rachamim. I'll make you soft. Why? Because you'll realize what's going on over here. How real this is. We're so asleep we don't recognize how real this is. We'll only realize how real it was once we won't have it. And we'll say, wow, look how real it was. Could have done so many things. Nobody's stopping us. But our habits are in our way. And we have to go to war with them. They're taking our life. They're suffocating us. Why? Because they're taking away our time. That's all we have in this world. What else do we have other than time? Time is life. Time is an opportunity to manifest. Time is an opportunity to do so that you have, so that you are, so that you know. Because this is it here. This is where it happens. So when a person is oisik b'limud HaTorah lishmo, buzeu lokach l'Hashem kivyochol, he takes him, mamshich olav ashros hashchina akdoshi. He's mamshich the shros hashchina in his heart. V'zeh shlem shemim b'pasav yikchu li, and sheyikchu shmi, they should take my name. What does that mean? They should get to know who I am. They should know the real me. That's knowing HaKadosh Baruch Hu's name. It's not knowing the letters. It's knowing what is the nature of how him and you interact. What is the real nature of what he gave to me and what he made me be? Because that's your relationship with him. So essentially, his name is you. You are his representative. You're his name in this world. Your behavior affects his name. The way we see a person behave That's how we see HaKadosh Baruch Hu created people. And that's how we know how HaKadosh Baruch Hu is. All the names that Chazal gave to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Rachum, Chanon, Oiver al Pesha, Boichen Libois, all these names they gave based on observing reality. They looked at reality and they saw based on reality that this is what he does. How do we know? Because he created it. If he wasn't in him, he wouldn't have created it. Because everything he created was so that we can know him, so that we can know who we are and we can understand what he created. So therefore, if he created a certain behavior, it's because he has that behavior. He's trying to demonstrate. That's how we see life. So if we want the Ava Rachaman, we have to be the Ava Rachaman. And then we find that aspect of HaKadosh Baruch Hu manifest within us, and then we know that that's what he has. Because we see it. And when we see the other side, when we see anger, we see other things, it makes us think differently about HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Like we saw not that long ago, whenever there's a big catastrophe, people go running from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They go running scared. And that's because people represent HaKadosh Baruch Hu in this world. And according to how people behave, that's how we believe HaKadosh Baruch Hu is. And the person that you look at the most to find out what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is yourself. How you feel. How you interact. That's the biggest try of what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is to you, because that's the only one you really know intimately, you know very deeply. So Tzaddikim's relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu got closer and closer as they got to know themselves more and more. Because then they recognized the gift that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave them. Then they recognized what's really happening over here. That everything we think about a human being is just a shell, it's just a klippa. That's not it, that's not who he is. He runs much deeper. He has so much more to give. We just have to find the right be'er to get to the well, so that we can shep chayas, so that we can stop killing the chayas that's within man, so that it can manifest, so that it can be what HaKadosh Baruch Hu created it to be. וזה שלמה שמרים בפוסק ויקחו לי, היינו שיקחו שמי, יאמר לי יהיה לוקחים אויסי, כי אני שמי אחד. והיכן הוא והיכן שמוי, תרומה, היינו תוירה מם, היינו על ידי התוירה, כי התוירה שמי ממש. So it says, through taking the Torah, you're taking HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If you understand the Torah, you understand the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If you understand the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you understand reality. And then, Oiraisa v'Yisrael v'Kitche B'richi become one. They are one now also, but you don't know it. So you're not part of the party, you're not part of the fun. You have to figure it out for yourself. You have to understand how the Torah and you and HaKadosh Baruch Hu are one. As long as you don't understand it, they're not one in you. You're standing in the way. That's the avodah that we have to do for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to take the Torah and to recognize from there who you are and who HaKadosh Baruch Hu is. And to realize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu and you are much closer than you can imagine. Because there's no real you, but there's most definitely an HaKadosh Baruch Hu. For you, we can go looking. Scientists haven't found you yet. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu is everywhere. ואיזה לימוד, ללמוד ולעשות אלוקיים, וזה רמוז בתורה מם היינו, כי התורה ניתנה במם יום, כדי יצירס הוולד. Just like a vlad gets created in the beginning of the Yemei Ibur in 40 days, and then you can tell if it's a Zohar and a Keva, it's a completed vlad. The same thing, the Torah was 40 days in conception until it became a Torah. Because the Torah and you are the same, are parallel to each other. Just like you, so the Torah. Just like the Torah, so you. Everything in the Torah is you, and everything in you is in the Torah. And when you'll find the two, then you'll suddenly notice that the Satan disappeared. He's unaccounted for. Because he's not really there in the first place. We're imagining him. So, זה מרום is Torah mem היינו, כי התורה ניתנה במם יום כדי יצירס הוולד. כמו הוולד נצטר כל איבורov וגידov במם יום. He has the Ramach Evorim, the Shiso Gidim, that develop in 40 days. כן התורה הקדושה שישמור של הקדוש ברוך הוא כנ"ל, יש בו רמ"ח איבורים, רמ"ח מצוות עשה, שסו מצטערים בו במם יום. ולזה נצטערי במם יום דווקא כנגד יצירת אדם, שעל ידי האדם הנוצר ב40 יום, through the person that's created in 40 days, מצטערים מצוות התורה, the mitzvah Torah can have a kiyum, it can have a meaning. B'kiyum mitzvah say, u'shmiras aloisase, alemed amanas lekaima v'hovein. So when a person learns Torah from the proper way, from the proper perspective, then he is creating the Ramach mitzvah say and the Shesol mitzvah loisa say within himself. He becomes the person now of Ramach Evorim Shesol Gidim. He gets to know himself in a different way. Like we see by Avram, that the first his name was Avram, and then when HaKadosh Baruch Hu came to see him, he added the name, he added the hey, so that he can be mechuber to all his Ramach Evorim. So there is Avram. Avram is Gematria Ramach. And that means that every part of you, every part of your body has representation in your mind. And the Torah is the file in your mind that you need in order to communicate with that body part. So every body part needs communication, needs to get chayas from the brain, needs to get life from the Mekor HaChaim. The Torah is the one that connects the pieces so that the das, that's supposed to be connecting the Ruchnis to the Gashmis, that's supposed to be the one that's busy trying to attach and be meyached Shemaim v'Oretz, can have the proper words, can have the proper letters, can have the proper software in order to do his job, in order to do the attachment, so that the Ruchnis gives chayas to the Gashmis the way that it's supposed to. And as soon as a person moves away from that balance, then certain body parts, certain areas of his life are not getting their sustenance. The system is not in balance. He's not spiritually all there. And then things happen to a person that he doesn't understand, because he's not in the level of understanding. He's causing himself all kinds of damage that he's not even aware of, because he's thinking all kinds of things that he shouldn't be thinking. Why? Because he's forgotten the Torah. What does the Torah say? That somebody created this. We don't need your opinion about it. We already know it's good. Your opinion about it is only going to hurt you. It's not going to help you. Don't even think about your opinion. Who cares? You're going to hurt yourself because of your opinion? You think it should be this way, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says it's that way, so now you're going to hurt yourself? What, a type of suicide? For what? It didn't happen, it didn't happen. That's how life works. He already decided what's going to happen. We need to decide how we're going to react, how we're going to take it, how we're going to face it. And the less we have an opinion about it, the better. The easier it's going to be for us to go through. The less emotions we're going to have involved in it. The binyan Beis Hamikdash, over here we're talking about the binyan of the Mishkan. That the whole Mishkan was set up in a way that explains how the spiritual aspect of a human being functions. Every single detail in the Mishkan is talking about you. Not the individual you necessarily, but most certainly the individual you is included, but the Mishkan represents the collective you, the collective of Klal Yisrael. But the collective is nothing more than a lot of individuals. And these individuals, they represent HaKadosh Baruch Hu in this world. And this is why HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, "V'yikchu li truma," when you go to collect for the Mishkan. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu needs our hearts for this. There's nobody else that can give it to him. Nobody. With all his glory, and all the kesef v'zohav in the world, and everything else that he's created, there's one thing that he left to us, and if we don't give it to him, he doesn't have it. And that's our heart. V'yikchu li trima li lishmi. Open up your heart to yourself, to your own reality, to the reality that you're suffering. And while you're suffering, you're making yourself suffer more by being negative, by going down, by not using your koach hadibur to balance out what's going on in your life, instead using the koach hadibur to make it look even worse. The koach hadibur is the most powerful force you have. It's the director. It's the one that runs all of it. When he's down, everybody's down. No body part's going to stand up to the koach hadibur and say, you're saying it's bad. I don't think so. So when the koach hadibur says things are bad, everybody thinks it's bad. Your heart, your mind, your liver, your mouth, your ears, your nose. Your breathing is shallower. Your nerves are tighter. Everything is down, sluggish. What happened? The koach hadibur said it's over. Don't worry about it. Don't even try. What do you usually need? You need somebody else with his koach hadibur to come and drag you out of there. You hook up a chain, you pull, let's see if he has enough tug. Maybe he doesn't. Both of them fell. That's the power of dibur. That's the driver. That's the fuel. That's how we motivate each other. That's how we motivate ourselves. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants a mikdash. He wants a mishkan. He, the one who created life, and he says, if you believe me that it's good, it will be good. It won't be the way you think. You got a lot to learn before you're going to know what good looks like in this world. Because it has to be good that's worked out with the whole structure of tens of years and hundreds of years and thousands of years. There's a bigger picture going on. But it's most certainly good. It's most certainly a refuah. As long as a person is not pulling the Satan into the equation, whatever is happening to him is a refuah. Things are going back to balance. Things are going back to homeostasis. How does life work? It always works like that. Physically, emotionally, spiritually, as soon as the damage stops, as soon as you stop the toxicity, everything within the human being is working to heal him. And that's because HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants him healed. But we have other forces. We have other drivers. We have other emotions that still have cheshboinus. Elikim asas adam yosher, straight. The Zohar says, what does it mean, yosher? Person is straight. How do you know if he's straight? He's straight if he's a soleach. If he forgives, then he's seeing straight. If he holds himself by his principle, when there's people's well-being involved, he's not straight. He's a crooked guy. He's more important than what's happening. He thinks, he feels. Think differently. Big deal. You think what you think, it's all worked out. You got it all worked out. What do we know? You think the same you thought 10 years ago? Were you any less confident 10 years ago? Confident, they know. I think. YAKOV'S, as they say. You think. Say there. It's enough of a problem you think. Now the other guy's got to suffer? This is something we have to realize. This is something we have to realize. We think, that's what we do. The mouth eats, the brain thinks. Say there. We're not going to stop it necessarily. It doesn't bother you that he thinks, let him think. But don't impose that on other people. What do you want from the other dude? He thinks differently. It already happened. Why is that so important? Because then when nobody will be so stuck on what they think, then maybe they can listen when somebody says something true. Maybe it'll go in. Maybe by mistake, something will be better. As long as he only thinks what he thinks, how is he ever going to become better? Who's going to help this guy? He's already plugged all the possibilities of somebody coming in and telling him something. It's over. Best case scenario, we'll argue with him for only 10 minutes, and then we'll say we'll agree to disagree. It's not just when something happens, we don't know why it happened. We don't know. It's okay. It's okay. Why did it happen? We think we're going to get control. Oh, we know why it happened. I'm not doing that, so I'm good. Or maybe I'm doing a little. Now I got to... We don't know why it happened. To get over it. We don't know why it happened. But I can tell you things that happened closer to your life that you're involved with. Then we can say why it happened. Because we've seen the history. We were there. We know what was said and we know what was done. And everything keeps evolving. The mind forgets. But the spirit never forgets. Because the spirit was defined by these events. If it forgets, it won't know who it is. The spirit is defined by words. Everything we do is motivated by words, words that were placed in our brain, not necessarily by the biggest geniuses in the history of humanity. So what if you were told this first and this came 10 years later, so now it makes what you heard first true? No. We don't know. We don't know. And it's okay. It's scary. It's not so scary. If you realize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows what he's doing, it's not so scary. If you think you're in control, then it's very, very scary. Because I got news for you. You're in control of nothing. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he wants us to open up to him so that we can finally relax and realize there's a bigger plan happening here. There's something bigger. There's something different. Something you haven't thought of or imagined. And neither are you capable of imagining it right now. But if this is what you desire, if you want to understand, if you want to get closer, then that's what the Torah is here for. Get to know HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Get to know his name. Get to know who you're dealing with. And then you'll realize that you don't have anything to be afraid of. The only thing you should be afraid of is arrogance, stupidity, is not knowing what's happening. That's very scary. And if you want proof, just look at our history. Look at the wars, look at the fighting, look at the madness. I don't need to tell you what happened on this planet because of stupidity. You want to be afraid of being stupid. It's very, very dangerous. Not only for yourself, but also for your spouse, for your children, for your grandchildren. Everybody will suffer of your stupidity. If you don't know how to interact, if you don't know how to create the proper spiritual guidance, so then the suffering continues. We're just another part of that silly game that doesn't need to continue happening anymore. We have peace from everywhere, from all sides. Now we just need peace from ourselves so that we know how to behave to each other. In the Meleches HaMishkan, we used 6 different ingredients. Zohar v'Kesef v'Nechoshes, Telah, Shoni v'Sheish. There's another one. Argamon. So these are the midas. The midas of the person are represented in the ingredients that they used for the Mishkan. And why is that? It's because our midas, our interactions, our kelim for dealing with self and other, these are exactly the kelim that are used to build an Ashras HaShechina. This is exactly the ingredients. This is exactly what we need. This is exactly what we're missing. We have the Gashmis. The Gashmis is all there. Maybe today it's too much here, too much there, too much everywhere, but there's enough of it. But we lack midas. We lack people who care about humanity. We lack people who are willing to give up whatever it is they think they're busy with and realize that they're busy living. And while you're busy living, you got to figure out what living means. Otherwise, everything else is a waste of time. Today will go, tomorrow will go. Perfect, you've survived. Maybe you survived in a fancy house, and maybe you've survived in a little house. Maybe you had a fancy car while you were surviving, and maybe you had no car. But all you did was survive. Unless you figured out what it means to be you, then that life was not lived yet. So what's the survival for? What's the end goal? What's the result? Just to be a fill-in generation so the next generation can come to this world and be as confused as we are? This is our responsibility as adults. We need to know what's going on. We need to learn it in a way that we take it seriously. That we understand that this is the communication we received. And until we don't understand it, we don't know how to live. And that's a big problem. So Chodesh Adar. What's Chodesh Adar? It's a time when we're marbe b'simcha. To be marbe b'simcha, a person can only have real simcha when he realizes that he's in the right hands. Otherwise, Shlomo HaMelech says, "Litzchoik amarti mohoilol." There's a schoik of the ksil. He laughs. What are you laughing about? What's so funny? Life's not funny. But real simcha comes when you realize that the only reason life's not funny is because everybody's wearing their masks. When people will take off their mask, they'll wake up from their dream and they'll be the authentic beings that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created. We will be able to laugh. Why will that be a justified laugh? Why don't we say, what are you laughing for? Because that laugh is going to be a realization that there cannot be any more trouble. There never really was any trouble. We were the trouble. And as soon as we're not the trouble, there is no trouble. V'shiz v'zoiche, HaKadosh Baruch Hu shebi mesameach os, v'shiv Hashem es tzivas tzion, v'shesidig ul Shlema meir b'yimeinu.